Hey, Shane.
Yeah.
Do you know what time it is?
Yeah.
Do you know what's connecting us all?
Yeah.
Yeah. I made him see Madam Web alone, and now we're going to talk about it.
We are.
Woo!
So yeah, I went and saw Madam Web. Spencer, why did I go see Madam Web?
So once, I cannot remember which episode, but you viciously bullied me about liking to go to the movies alone.
Viciously bullied.
And I held on to that. I held on to it until my moment to strike. And then you, I believe in the RRR episode.
Was it the RRR?
I think it was the RRR episode.
It was around the end, or the end or the very beginning of last year.
You were talking about having a goal to watch all of the Letterboxd top 250 or top 250, top 250 movies, and then watch 365 movies in a year.
Yeah.
So that was his goal. Did you achieve that goal?
I achieved neither of them. I didn't even scratch the fucking surface on the IMDb 250. Now, well,
Letterboxd.
The Letterboxd, I say IMDb. The Letterboxd 250. I scratched the surface because I had already seen many of them. I think I had 150 of them I hadn't seen or something like that. So it would have. I think it actually almost ended up being almost exactly half of the movies of the 365 needed to be Letterboxd movies.
So
and I watched like 4.
So that happens.
But I watched a lot of movies. I just didn't hit 365.
Yeah, that happened, and I seized my moment and said, if you didn't do it, you had to go to any movie I picked by yourself.
I'm pretty sure I am the one being like, should there be a punishment?
You said there should be a punishment, and I went, I'll field this one.
Yeah.
And then that happened, and then it came and passed, and I was like, I don't know if I'll bring it up, and then you brought it up,
and then I brought it up,
and I seized my moment once more,
Yeah.
and we gave you another out, and we hit that goal.
Yeah.
So
Because you cheated.
I did not cheat.
Kind of.
A little.
He cheated a little.
A little. Not completely.
He cheated a little, but the result was so much more than what I asked for that I allowed the cheat.
So I elected to send you to Madam Web by yourself.
Yeah.
On a Sunday morning did you go in an empty theater?
I wanted to go to a screening because it was already a couple weeks into the run, if not like 3, or it was late. So like I knew that there weren't going to be all that many people, and I was afraid that if I went to like an evening, that the theater would be bad. Like it would be bad.
It wasn't at Alamo, right?
It wasn't at Alamo anymore. So I went to Cinemark, and so I went on a Sunday morning, and I was quite literally the only person in the theater.
And you had a real bad time.
Here is my feelings on it in a nutshell. It's not like truly awful. It's just like really boring and just really poorly made in a really deeply frustrating way.
Okay, so here's the thing. The reason I say it a bad time is I had a blast watching it. I don't think it's good.
Yeah.
I don't like that movie. I will not own that movie.
Right.
Whatever. But I had someone sitting next to me the whole time be like, did that just fucking happen?
Yeah.
Like, here's, okay, so I want to start here. There was before we get into your experience and your notes and all that, do you ever watch Chris Stuckman videos?
I've seen some. I don't watch them very often.
Okay, he put out one on Madam Web, and his current thing is he makes movies. He just made his first feature.
Yeah.
He does not want to shit talk movies anymore because he's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to piss anyone off. I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to only talk about movies I really enjoy. He's like not being critical of them, but only movies he's like recommending he does videos on now. But he did one on Madam Web, and it is he literally just goes, he's like, look, this movie's been talked about to death.
Yeah.
I don't want to the situation is, and the movie is what it is.
Yeah.
He made a review essentially talking about the studio system.
Yeah.
Which is like, by the way, you should watch that video. Very good video.
I went to.
He got flamed so hard for like 3 or 4 days, and then everyone came to his defense about it.
Yeah.
But people are like, be critical, man. It's okay to be critical. He's like, I was right at the beginning, and then I said, I don't care about that. I want to talk about why the studio is at fault for this.
Yes.
Because the director of that movie, it's her first feature.
Yeah.
But go look at her television credits.
Yeah.
She's directed some of the best episodes of like Succession. She's done a bunch of like the Star Wars stuff. I mean, she is a incredibly talented director who got the absolute worst possible scenario with this movie. I mean, she has Dakota Johnson, who clearly doesn't really want to be in it. And I should also say, I very much believe that everyone who signed on for this movie signed on for something entirely different than what got made.
That was the point I was about to make.
So watch that video; it's very interesting. And I would love to see. I'm forgetting her name, but I would love to see her make another movie.
Yeah,
and be given a fair shake.
100%.
Because she is so clearly, even in this very poorly made movie, she's so clearly a talented director.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, all the stuff about this movie that makes me like furious, you can feel somebody sitting in an editing booth being like, you have to change that. You have to make the camera move like this. It's like you can feel her attempting and immediately getting shut down and stopped and all that.
You can feel the script changes. You can feel the studio notes. You can feel the weight of all of those things burying an excited cast and crew for something that could have been cool and fun, and then just turned into again, it's like, it's really not, it's wild. Like, certain decisions are like really weird and bad, but it's not, I mean, it's not like The Room. It's not like, it's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not even like, I was, so after I watched the movie, I was sitting down talking to Megan about it, and I was like, it's like, it's not even all that fun to talk about.
No.
It's like, it was fun for me and Megan because I love her and we have a fun back and forth. But it's like in that way that it's like, it's like frustrating and disappointing because this could have been better. And it just wasn't.
Very important to say for the discourse around this movie being that we're very late to, by the way. The discourse around this movie being that it's the worst thing ever made. You have not seen the worst movie ever made. No. You have not even seen the top 1,000 worst movies ever made. No. I promise you. This is a major motion picture that got released in a theater with a massive cat. It cannot be the worst movie ever made.
No.
Let's stop there.
Yeah.
There is a thing or two in this movie that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Here and there. It never like ever fully goes to just, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
But like there's an idea or two in here that I'm like, oh, that's an interesting little thing.
Yeah.
This movie is not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just not a good movie. Like, right. And that is the difference. It's like, it's for all the reasons we just said, it's clearly no one's fault other than the studio's fault.
Yeah. And yeah, I want the best for the cast and crew involved. I want all of them.
Dude, that cast, I mean, they got lucky when they picked up Sydney Sweeney that early, and they got lucky when they picked up Isabel Merced, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Because she is now in The Last of Us season 2 and Hawkgirl in Superman.
Yeah.
And she's in the new Alien Romulus movie.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, they got her like right before she blew up. They got Sydney. I mean, Sydney Sweeney blew up in the way that she did because of this movie.
Right.
This movie put her in contact with people and got a good relationship with Sony, which made other things happen. Yeah. Which, like, from that perspective, awesome. Like, do your job, show up, make good connections. That's what it's all about, even at that level.
Yeah. And again, like there is a version of this movie that is even before they blew up, after they blew up, like the blown up version of Sydney Sweeney would be excited to be a part of this. Yeah. But that is not the movie that they shot.
Sydney Sweeney in interviews and stuff was very excited to be a part of it. You know what I mean? I'm sure those were taken while they were filming before she realized that, you know, whatever I mean. But like there's interviews of her being like, no, I fought for this and I fought for this. And I was like, it's so fun to watch these people be excited about movie making.
Yeah.
And like she fought really hard for that Spider-Woman in the comics is always like entering scenes upside. Like she was like, I fought really hard for that because I thought it'd be fun. And so she spent a whole day dangled upside down with wires and just like waiting to shoot 1 2-second clip. It's like that. This cast was clearly passionate.
Yeah.
She got stuck making a crappy kind of bummer of a movie.
Yeah. And this is no shade on the CW shows, but making like a CW. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like the worst possible episode of one of those good shows.
And dude, look, the CW is like gone through a lot of changes, was great, now weird, all that kind of stuff. It's like, but it does feel like the worst CW show. Like,
right?
Which that's a bummer.
Yeah. It feels like an ABC Family show.
Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure we got that out of the way. That's like, this is not the worst thing ever made.
No.
It is the studio's fault. I want all of these people to go and be in other things and make other things. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I took 4 pages of notes while I was watching
excited.
it. I have done this before. I really enjoy doing these note sessions because it's anytime I see something like, what is happening? I just write down a word that reminds me of what.
Our Fast X one is like one of our longest episodes, and it's just a note session.
Oh, it's just a note session. I think I did that for Hobbs and Shaw too. Yeah, we did. Because that was a fun one too. And again, like most of these aren't like, some of them are actually pretty or critiques. My first note. The whip zooms.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There are so many like crash zooms.
The whips and the weird like rotating and flipping of the camera is just like, okay.
Yes.
Which like, look, again, I think there's a fun idea in there for a Spider-Man thing, but the way they use it and the direction of it like all feels lost by it. Feels like there's another studio thing. It feels like she had one idea for one that could be fun, and the studio went, "Is that what the whole thing's gonna look like?" And she's like, "Well, shit."
There are about 4 directors that I'm aware of that really know how to use a crash zoom.
Yeah.
And that's Sam Raimi. Mm-hmm. That's Quentin Tarantino.
Yep.
That's
Edgar.
was that
Edgar?
Yes. Edgar Wright. I had one other one. It's like locked in my freaking brain.
Is that a Guy Ritchie thing? Does he do those? I don't think Guy Ritchie does those.
I'm trying to think. Like, no, he does more like freeze frames. And Steven Soderbergh.
Steven Soderbergh
knows Sodi. Yes. Steve A knows how to use a freaking crash sim. This was not used well. Twilight running. So right at the beginning of the movie, when there's the ooky spooky spider clan, and they're running through the forest, it legitimately looks like a scene out of Twilight.
It looks like a scene out of Twilight. And why did they make Spider-Man's suit kind of a cultural appropriation, where they have like the vines and stuff making the exact symbol of his thing? And it's like, wait, is this like a cultural spider thing?
Also,
like,
why are they hideous?
Yeah.
Why are they terrifying to behold?
Yeah.
My next note is costumes. Oh my God, they are so terrifyingly ugly.
Yeah. The one good costume, and I'll defend this one, is the Sydney Sweeney black Spider-Woman suit. That costume is really cool. The other two Spider ladies,
no,
not good.
Madam
Web, terrible. But the Sydney Sweeney one's like actually a cool costume.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I agree with that. Costuming is not good in this movie. I do think her coat looks great though.
The coat
that she wears to a funeral, I might add, or she's on her way to a funeral, and that's what she wears.
Why is the antagonist of the movie? Why is every single one of his lines ADR'd?
That's not an exaggeration.
Like I quite literally think 100%. Every single one of his lines are ADR'd. Why? And they're bad. They are poorly done.
It has to be. I don't know if you can make a movie with 100% ADR for a whole character and it not just be awful. Like, I don't think there's a world in which you can do it.
Yeah.
Especially a character who's in it as much as he is.
Was his accent too thick on set to where it was like they were concerned he wouldn't be understandable? I have no idea. Because, like...
Or was it a performance thing? Or did they just completely rewrite his character?
Yeah. Oh, because there are several where it's like back is turned. I'm like, that's a rewrite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a rewrite.
But like, why is it so much?
Yeah.
Like, it truly in a way that's like mind melting. You're like, what's happening?
Right.
Like, it's crazy.
My next note is costumes again. I don't remember which costume this is for.
His costume is awful.
Oh, he's also
his
awful.
Weird CW Spider-Man suit is like...
Oh, it is. Okay, I think CW is such a great.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, this movie wasn't cheap.
No.
And yet everything feels so cheap.
Can I ask you this? They made this movie to retain rights to these characters. Because there are rules where you have to use... Right. That's why they made this movie.
Yeah.
If that is your goal...
Is that like known, or is that just like this is what we know? You know what I mean? Like,
this is what we know. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why the Josh Trank Fantastic Four movie was made.
Yeah,
that is essentially known.
Yes.
But why on these movies, where they're just doing it to keep the rights and cash a check, why don't you just let the director do whatever, give them a budget that is reasonable and go, if you stay within this budget, you can do whatever you want. I don't care.
Let them do... Look, I don't like the movie Joker. But let them do a Joker on it. You know what I mean?
Low budget.
Give them $50 million and say, do whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Like,
dude, because the return on investment that people are insane about this. Like, for whatever reason, Hollywood believes movies have to be $300 million to be financially successful. It's like, no. That is how you're going to destroy the film industry.
Yeah.
The Flash is already doing it. All these big tentpole movies bombing, already doing it.
Yeah.
But you know what some of the most profitable movies ever are?
Are the 30, 20, 50.
Paranormal Activity, one of the most profitable movies of all time. Joker, the most profitable R-rated movie of all time.
Yeah.
Because it made $1 billion on a $50 million budget.
Yeah.
And the reason it did is because it looked cool.
Yeah.
It was a very easy to market movie because all of the images are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like,
make it a horror movie and
Yeah.
and then it will make money instantly.
exactly.
Like,
It's immensely frustrating that they don't just let these directors do what they want, especially for these like dumb cash grab ones. It's like you can market it however you want, but let the movie be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nikon, or brought to you by Nikon, brought to you by Mountain Dew,
Pepsi.
brought to you by Pepsi.
The Pepsi.
We'll get
the
to
Pepsi
Pepsi.
one.
We'll get to Pepsi. The pacing. Wow.
Movie's long.
Oh, the pacing.
Movie's long.
It's not even long. It
But it
feels
feels-
like it's 4 hours long, but I think it's like 1:45 or like almost.
It's a very normally length movie, but it feels like a 2.5.
Yeah. CG hair. It's when she's underwater
Yeah.
and she has the Arrival hair. Look,
Yeah.
Arrival's one of the best movies ever made.
But Arrival has an excuse for being a low budget movie that used its effects elsewhere. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hundo P. Doctor Strange. I don't remember what this was for. I think it had to do. It was her when she's in the spider realm.
Oh, yeah.
and she's like, and she literally has the Doctor Strange,
vision where
astral
he's-
plane
yes.
moment. They literally were just
dude,
like,
I think I thought that too. Actually, when she like astral projects,
because it is
Yeah.
that. Like it just is that.
yeah,
This whole movie gave me like fan film
Yes.
vibes. It gave me Marvel hire this man kind of vibes.
yes,
You know,
I agree with that.
And so it's like, oh god, it just feels so much like a fan film. ADR once again. Pepsi. So this was at the party or whatever, the cookout. Every single person was either holding a Budweiser or a Pepsi, and is Budweiser owned by
I don't know. I don't know who owns them.
it wouldn't surprise me if they were a Yum Brands, because Yum Brands is Pepsi. Do you know why Pepsi products are the only things sold at Taco Bell?
No.
It's because Pepsi owns Taco Bell.
Oh well, there we go.
Pepsi bought Taco Bell and other restaurant chains because they were losing the market share to Coke, and so they bought restaurants so they could be the only things served at those restaurants. Isn't that wild?
That's a crazy strategy.
Yeah,
That's a like.
fuck you, Yum Brands.
It's like make a movie out of that weird idea thing. Like,
And now because of that, Pepsi is still Pepsi.
well, there we go.
Hey man, if it works, it works. But also, fuck you. Also, corporate consolidation is bad.
That's true.
I mean, like literally, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the studio system where Hollywood studios were owned the theaters as well.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
It's like, so they had to show their own movies and like wouldn't show competitor, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It's like, it's that. It's like they don't sell Coke at
Taco
Bell because of that.
Wild.
Fascinating. The more you know. But without that, we wouldn't have Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Which
so,
that is really.
maybe, all right. Maybe corporate mergers are
Maybe
good.
this one time we can let it slide.
Maybe just this once. Emma Roberts, I had no fucking clue she was in
Yeah, when
this.
she popped up, I literally did a double take. I was like,
I literally look, I was alone in the theater, so I went, Emma Roberts?
Yeah.
Like, just, what? Is Adam Scott Uncle Ben?
yeah. That's
Okay, do we know?
No, that's what it is. Yeah.
Because they don't say the fact that the kid's name is Peter.
No, but they do call him Ben Parker.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and then the person he meets is May, and
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
no,
okay.
it is like it is known.
It is known. Okay, so the whatever, the fireworks factory explodes.
Yeah,
And they're on the scene and they're doing CPR and whatnot. You're just doing chest compressions on the side of the road.
yeah.
Everybody else is running around and putting people in the back of ambulances. She is trying to resuscitate this man alone. His heart is stopped, and she's doing. No, I'm sorry. The person who has maybe a burn, or maybe lost a couple of fingers. I'm sorry, they are less important than the person who's dead on the street getting chest compressions.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. There's like 3 people moving one person who's alive on a gurney. It's like maybe one person could push the dude on the gurney, and we can go put this man
in an ambulance.
I was like, it legitimately feels like there was not a medic on set, let alone a not a coordinator. What's the word I'm looking for? A consultant.
Oh, consultant.
Let alone a medical consultant. It felt like they didn't even have a medic on set for medic reasons, for a big Hollywood production reason. It's like, would nobody say, hey, that's not how this would work, guys? Yeah. I'm not a doctor, and I know that's not how that would work.
Yeah.
I'm also pretty sure, I'm like 79% sure they're doing CPR wrong. When she teaches them how to do CPR, she's teaching them how to do CPR wrong. We'll get to that in the notes, I think. But like, I kind of want to stop and be like, hey, if you're going to have a scene where you teach somebody how to do CPR,
make sure
you
it's correct.
should be legally required to show how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Because what if I don't have CPR training and the only thing I know about it is from what I've seen from Madam Web? That person's going to die.
Yeah, that's true.
No, like that person is not going to survive this. I think it is like irresponsible for you to put wrong. It's like it's like close, but it's not right.
Yeah.
And it just like that feels so irresponsible to me.
Yeah.
Again, it's like that kind of thing where it's like, y'all really couldn't have paid for a consultant to come in and like double check to make sure y'all are doing this correctly. Yeah. Or just have the medic on set that I know y'all have. I know you have to have a safety officer.
Y'all oozing with Pepsi money. Why aren't you getting these people paid?
Y'all are dripping in
Pepsi money. Yeah, you're sticky with Pepsi money.
You're fizzy with. Yeah. Oh, my next note is: did they even talk to a medic? Like, it really doesn't feel like they did. Christmas Carol. Y'all really couldn't have thought about another movie. Does Sony not own the rights to another movie about a person confronting their past or confronting their future?
They don't.
It felt so out of place where I was like, girl, it's July. Why are you watching A Christmas Carol? If I was like, okay, Bird. Just Bird.
Yeah.
Just Bird. I can't remember. I said coffee ? I think it's because at one point she's drinking a coffee and it is the most disgusting looking shit I've ever seen. I can't remember why. I don't. Grand Central Station obviously has like subway entrances and things like that, but that's like primarily a railway station. It isn't a subway station. Like, yes, there's a subway stop, but it's not a subway station.
Yeah.
In the way that Grand Central Station, you go to Grand Central Station to get on a like an Amtrak to go to Chicago. You don't go to Grand Central Station to go to
the upper
what is it? Poughkeepsie. Because they go to Grand Central Station to go to Poughkeepsie. I'm sorry, you could have gotten on the H or whatever.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go to Grand Central Station for that.
But it looks so good.
Yeah, it's like, but New York is a character in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, but I don't live in New York.
Yeah.
And I know that.
It's like the John Wick movies are like famous for having him teleport all over the city just to get to the coolest areas. But in that it works.
But in that it works because I like that movie.
Yeah, because that's a well-made movie that we don't think about these things because it's working.
And this one just feels like it's just lazy iconography.
Yeah.
Where it's like it isn't telegraphing the fact that they are in a different place or they are in Grand Central Station. Mm-hmm. They are just in beautiful buildings within New York City.
Yeah.
They're in beautiful places within New York City. They go, no, I need to get to Poughkeepsie. So I need to go to Grand Central Station. You know that. You live from Indiana and even you know where Grand Central Station is, right? It's like, where John Wick is just like, hey, I'm shooting a guy and we happen to be in Central Park, and then he walks down the street and he's 30 blocks away.
Yeah,
like that's different.
It's different.
But it is a funny. Oh God, Sweeney the schoolgirl, man, this movie's so horny.
Yeah,
and I'm like, these are teenagers. Like obviously they're adults playing teenagers, but it's like, isn't she supposed to be like 16 or something?
Yeah.
Ew.
It's weird.
Like it makes, and again, like it doesn't, obviously it's not like, it doesn't feel like a directorial decision. It feels like a producer decision. But I'm like, man, I wish somebody would put some feet down on this one.
Yeah.
Because like, this legitimately, this is the first thing I've seen Sydney Sweeney in.
Yeah.
I have not seen anything else with Sydney Sweeney in. I haven't seen Euphoria. I haven't seen any of the movies she's in. This is my first experience with Sydney Sweeney. It really made me question, like, is she really just a really hot girl with big boobs? Like, because I know she's bad. Like, I know how people talk about her, and I know how good she actually is.
Yeah.
But man, this movie really just reduces her down to that.
Yeah. No, she's good. She's a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, she's a good actor. Just kind of hard stop.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't think she's like the best actor ever, so she couldn't make a bad script she couldn't make it work. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I don't even necessarily. It feels like weird and disappointing to know this person that I think a lot of people really like and admire right now. But from my experience, it's like all I've really seen of her is like, horny guys on Maine talking about how hot she is, and then I see this movie.
Yeah.
And then like trailers and that kind of thing.
No, like legitimately, you should watch Anyone But You.
Yeah,
that's a cool movie.
Yeah.
She's had a huge year.
Yeah, sure.
You should watch Anyone But You, and you should watch Immaculate. And then I think she's very good in Euphoria. Now, I don't recommend Euphoria.
Really? I really want to watch it, at least from a cinematography standpoint.
Oh, dude! Like season 2 specifically, it's shot on film. It's like fucking gorgeous. Yeah. But it is. Look, there are things about. Is a whole other conversation. Euphoria is okay. It's a very controversial show. Yeah, they're high schoolers and is like sexually explicit.
Right.
They're all adults making it. It's still weird. It's the exact same thing. But it's a good show. I quite like a lot about Euphoria. And then season 2 is like this narrative disaster.
Right.
But it's got some good stuff too.
Yeah. It just feels like this movie is just reducing her down to a pair of breasts, and I'm just like, it is like gross and weird when she is supposed to be 16, and it's like the camera is like leering, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Man, dude, you went on TV with no shoes on. The freaking spider dude literally has no shoes on. Mm-hmm. Why? Like, look, I know it's because because he can spider walk without shoes.
Doesn't need shoes.
But
like, you don't want to get your little grippers out all the time?
Little piggies.
Yeah.
This little piggy's going to kick your ass.
Yeah. Perfect.
The camera is nauseating.
Yes, it's...
Ooh, wow.
A little bit of this fun, crazy whip pan thing is cool. Like, when used right, when planned well, or... the occasional big shot. It's cool. Yeah. Dude, it is like every single scene is just whipping around and flying and just bad.
Or shaky to all fucking get it. Ooh, wow. Like literally nauseating. It is literally nauseating. Then my next question, which we've talked about, is Sydney Sweeney a good actress?
And
she's not good in this, which I don't blame her for that.
No.
Nobody is. Like literally nobody, except for like Adam Scott. He's fun.
You can tell that she cares about it.
Yeah.
Because she's not phoning it in. She has nothing to do in the whole movie and doesn't do anything with nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like an actor like Jake Gyllenhaal or the new Roadhouse. I just used Roadhouse. That script is nothing.
Yeah.
But man, does Jake Gyllenhaal make it work?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I've heard Conor McGregor is like bad, but in a super fun way because he's like giving it his entire ass.
Honestly, we should watch Roadhouse.
I want to.
There's one thing I really want to talk to you about Roadhouse. It's how they filmed fight scenes in like a really weird I don't.
I would love to see.
You would look at it and go, huh, and then I'd have to explain to you how they did it. Fascinating. Roadhouse is fine.
I can figure it out.
You could probably, but the way they did it is like really weird. I heard the stunt coordinator talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
it's interesting enough.
I want to watch it. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Watch Roadhouse.
The ADR once again. It's like every other sentence. It's ADR. The needle drop. I don't remember which needle drop I am. I think it's when they go.
What's the song from the Dream Scenario trailer? No, that plays over the end credits. I can't remember what song. Is it? I think it's a Talking Head song.
Oh, How Did I Get Here?
Whatever it is.
Days Gone By.
Something like that.
Days Gone By. I don't know. I'm not a big Talking Heads fan. Sorry. That was probably the most controversial thing I've said on this podcast. I'm not a huge...
smell sulfur?
Look, I respect that. It's just not my thing. I look down on anybody who does really like it, because I really like what's his name, the singer of the band. I really like him as a person. They're just, music has never quite gripped me in the way that I want it to. Anyways, it's not toxic, because I actually like, I fucking love Toxic. I love that song. Shout out to all the other Britney stans. She is my queen. Just if you know, we've got the Bey stands, we've got the Taylor Swift stands, we've got, you know, Gaga, the Barbs,
Miley Cyrus. I don't know. Are we just naming people? What are we doing?
No, if I have a mother, it is Britney Spears.
Okay.
Critical levels of midriff. Boy howdy, every single one of those teenage girls had their belly button out.
That's true.
And I'm like, okay, it was when they get up from the counter. Okay, so 2 of them already had midriff out. That was already part of their costume. And then they're like, hold on, let's get slutty and horny, and let me no, it's Oops, I Did It Again. Let me, like, Britney Spears, Oops, I Did It Again. So yeah, like giving Sydney Sweeney midriff moment. I was like, do we really need this much midriff? These are supposed to be teenagers. And then they start dancing on the table for
a group of boys. Yeah, that seems really gross.
Picture this. I just got off a 12-hour shift of driving my fucking truck. I pull over, I see a cafe in the distance, and I go, oh, that sounds amazing. I would love a burger, some fries, and maybe, fuck it, a waffle too. I sit down, I order my food. I'm having a nice time chatting with the waitress. We're having a wonderful time. I see 3 teenage girls come in and sit down the bar for me. I pay them no mind because I'm an adult and I don't prey on children. And so I'm eating my food, having a grand old time by myself. And then out of nowhere, 3 teenage girls are dancing on a table behind me in front of a bunch of teenage boys that seem mostly confused. They don't really seem to be enjoying this moment. They seem mostly confused by it. Me as a bystander, I'd be like looking around for the adults in the room to go like, who's gonna stop this? They have their feet on eating surfaces. Who's allowing this? Where's the manager? They're teenage girls dancing on a table with their bellies out, and freaking teenage boys looking up their skirts. This is weird.
Yeah.
Why is this moment in this movie? Okay, you want a moment where they're going and like flirting with the teenage boys, and maybe they're being giggly and loud. Okay. Dancing on the tables? Ooh.
It's weird.
It's so fucking weird.
It's leery and male gazy.
Yeah. But then they started playing Toxic, so I was okay with that.
You're like, oh, well, Toxic.
I fucking love that song. The only moment that I was like, oh, that was cool. Literally, the only moment during that movie was when Dakota Johnson walks in and then she gets stabbed and then that she gets transitioned back in time. The only moment I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Every other transition like that, like I was like, oh, that was cool. I like that. Mommy Web. Now she's their mommy. Mm-hmm. Now she knows. Now she's learning how to be a mother.
Don't you love how this movie just has her go on a trip for a week?
Yeah.
In the middle of it.
Yeah.
And then come back, and then the stakes pick back up.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah. Also, how is a teenage girl affording a place in the city? So she has this the I don't remember any of their names, but she's like, yeah, my dad got deported, and so I'm living alone in the city. Girl, you are 16. How are you affording an apartment in New York City? What is she doing to afford that?
It's 2002.
And she's also going to... It's 2002.
It's 2002.
Oh, it's 2002. Mm-hmm. 1 year after 2001, it's 2002. All right. You know what? Strike that one off the record. I think I got it. You know? Fair. All right.
Terrible. Awful.
You're not wrong, though. That's actually good justification. I wrote the word bored. I was bored at this point. I think it's when she's on the flight to go. This is also, I never get up to use the bathroom during movies. Yeah. I will hold it to the very end. I will freaking grip onto the seat like nobody's ever gripped on anything to hold my pee. I was like, all right, she's going to Peru or whatever. I can pee. I know what I'm going to miss.
Yeah.
And I came in and she found the dude and she was about to do the thing. And I was like, okay, I know what I missed. It's like, I found it. I know I didn't miss anything. Force Ghost? Why does every movie have to have a Force Ghost now?
Yeah, it's replaced the Sky Beam as our...
Oh my God, that's so true. We need to get this on the press. We need people to know.
Call Variety, quick.
Call Variety. Call Vulture. We need somebody to write an op-ed about how Force Ghosts have replaced the Sky Beam. Super medic. She's a super medic because she's a super powered person who also is a medic.
Yep.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I don't really remember what my thought was with this, but Tomb Raider. It just turns into Tomb Raider out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Mommy good. Because her mom didn't hate her.
Oh, yeah.
Her mommy's good.
But I don't have a neuromuscular disease.
That came out of nowhere for me. I was like, wait, she hates her mom? Yeah. She thought her mom hated her? Comes out of fucking nowhere. Oh no, she does love me. And then they kiss and make out. And I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
The old just missed him. She comes back to town and they just left. Oh, the old just missed him. Every time that happens 3 times in this movie, where she like goes back to the place where she left these teenagers, these children, and they're not where they're supposed to be.
On that note of like, okay, it's a very funny moment in this movie when she drives the bus through the thing, right, with timing of like, oh, just in time. The way they block it is, if he had just ducked, it would have missed him, but he jumps into the car.
Oh, yeah. I may or may not have.
Like, why did you do that, bud? Like,
my 2 notes later, super medic to the rescue.
Yeah.
In the fucking in
the ambulance.
In the ambulance.
In true Dwayne The Rock Johnson driving the ambulance off into the drone fashion. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it is literally, this movie has such a boner for EMTs and then yet couldn't hire one as a consultant.
Yeah.
Weird. Grand Theft Auto, where she just like randomly, she's just like, hey, I'm going to borrow this ambulance. I can't remember. Oh yeah, no. She takes the bomb off, or there's a bomb at one point and it gets thrown to a different vehicle. It's no longer on the vehicle with Emma or with Peter Parker in it.
I think that he's about to throw the bomb and then gets hit and the bomb rolls. Yeah.
Underneath a cab in traffic. Does the cabbie get blown the fuck up and die?
I think they all ran is the implication.
Is that it?
But I think it doesn't show that.
It doesn't show it.
But you just have to assume.
I sure as hell hope. Because otherwise there was some cabbie murder.
Yeah.
Hey, it's New York City, so
it happens every day.
It happens every day. Hurry. And so they knock out the guy or whatever, and then they're just like kind of lazily walking down the street, and they're like, you know what we could do? We could go to the fucking the explosion factory that also happens to be in the Pepsi building for some reason. There's also a smoke bomb in an ambulance. She pulls out a smoke bomb.
Oh no, that's a thing. That's a thing.
Why would there be a smoke? If that's the case, why?
It serves as a similar purpose as road flares. It is
a smoke bomb.
If you are ever dropped off of something or anything, those will.
Okay.
If you ever go off the water, you can pop them in water. They'll fill.
Okay.
But also, if you're in like low visibility situations or stuff, you can throw it and it will like.
Okay.
It's a thing.
All right.
It's a
if that's a thing, I take it back. All right. That's 2.
Now, is that
stricken from the record?
Is that like standard? I don't know, but it is in a lot of emergency kits have things like that. Yeah.
I can't remember how the smoke bomb worked though in the movie, because it was like an incendiary smoke bomb. It wasn't like a. It was like a goosh.
Oh, then no idea about that.
You know, it was like a magician,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. You know, it was like something that I would see in Call of Duty, not in a
Call of Duty. I think I've been playing a lot of recently.
Shout out this guy won Warzone. He won a game of Warzone.
Sponsored by Sip City.
Sponsored by Swizzle Fizz. I can never remember the name of that place for some reason. I don't know why. And so I always call it Swizzle Fizz.
It's honestly, good name for a soda shop.
I like Swizzle Fizz way better than Sip City because you know what I can remember? The one I came up with.
Yeah.
Pepsi. They go inside the smoke bomb factory that inside the Pepsi building for some reason. Force Ghost bad, where she's like, I can be in multiple places at once. And then Force Ghost
it's like,
to
first of all,
Meadow.
that's not how peering through time works, but okay. What are your powers?
It's that, I think it's Geico or something, the whatever commercial. Or, where it's like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Yeah. I was. Yeah. I don't remember what that was in response to or what she was saying, but just like the big defiant, like, I was. I was like, oof, bad.
Yeah. The Pepsi S being the murder weapon.
Pepsi saves the day, but also murders somebody.
Yeah.
I wonder what that conversation was like.
Like, we're going to have the famous Pepsi S fall from the sky in neon.
The famous Pepsi S.
Yeah.
The letter S.
Because Spider-Man, you know how he has a symbol of an S on his chest?
Is that it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It cannot possibly be it because
why wouldn't it be a P? There's two of them. There's two of them in the word Pepsi.
Yeah.
There's only one S. And there's other sodas that have S's in them.
The S is the perfect murder letter. We all know this.
I'll say this, though. Well, shit. I guess there's two pointy ends on an S, but there's only one pointy end on a P. So maybe you're right. All right.
P is more of an axe function, whereas the S is kind of a boomerang type deal.
Oh, I like where your head's at. This was the conversation that they were having with the Pepsi executives.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine what that conversation was like. Did the Pepsi executives want to be the murder weapon?
I think so.
Or did they just sign off with being the murder weapon?
I think somebody poked their head and went, hey, Pepsi, you're going to be the one saving the day. You cool with that? And they went, absolutely. And then they walked out.
And then, they didn't actually
Pepsi watched it and went, oh, shit.
Super medic.
Yeah, super medic.
When she's underwater and out of nowhere, just one sparky thing goes, I'm blind, and does nothing else. And then all of her daughters save her life.
So wait, how did she get paralyzed in this movie? Is it just the fall? Because at the end, she's like in a wheelchair and
she's in her Professor X looking ass.
Professor X chair. Yeah,
that's literally my next note.
Look,
is
like
Professor X looking ass.
That's the thing about Madame Web is that she's blind and in a chair. Like traditionally, she's like an older woman who's just always sitting in her chair, messing with the Spider-Man or whatever.
Messing with the Spider-Verse.
But it's like when she like all of a sudden is in a wheelchair. I was like, what happened? Did I miss something? Like,
you're completely right about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just like, okay.
I didn't even think about that.
Which, like, look, I don't care. It's just one of those things. Is like, when did that happen? Yeah. What happened?
Yeah. And then my last note, Pepsi, because they're all cracking a cold Pepsi with the other babes to go save the world.
Yeah. You know how it is.
Yeah. And then right at the very end of the movie, and it shows the clips of them as spider ladies. And I was like, why did we not have more of this? This seems way more fun.
Yep.
But that being said, it has maybe the worst shot of the movie with Force Ghost Madame Web just
in a suit,
just kind of dangling
in a suit that they made for one shot.
Yeah, You know, have you ever seen those clips of it's like some sort of like indoor theme park or whatever, or like an adventure park or whatever, and they have those pulleys or whatever on the ceiling that people can like strap into, and it's like a zip line.
I've done those before.
That you can like go around and like
that's what it was.
And have you seen those people that act dead and they're just limp? That's what she looks like floating up there.
Yeah,
she's just like limp and just kind of like floating
with
like
her little like hand thing. You're like, all right,
howdy.
Okay.
Yeah, again, this because I think I'm decently funny, so I think I made this funny. The movie is like that's the frustrating thing is like this conversation is more fun than the movie. It's more fun than the movie.
Any like real discussion on this movie gets pretty boring pretty quickly. Or
just sad.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like these are talented people across the board. I mean, literally from the fucking PAs up. These are talented people.
And even today, TV directors making the leap to features doesn't happen all that often. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of people do is a lot of people will make a movie and then they'll go direct like random episodes of NCIS to make money until they can make their next movie.
Yeah.
Like veteran TV directors, they don't really make movies.
No.
You know what I mean?
Or when they do, they're really bad and they have Dakota Johnson in them.
Yeah.
Looking at you, 50 Shades Darker and 50 Shades Freed.
Yeah. Oh, is that a TV director?
Yeah. Well, okay, he did direct Glenn Ross, but he also directed a bunch of TV. Like that between Glengarry and Glenn Ross and that.
Look, no shade. Quentin Tarantino has directed episodes of NCIS.
Oh,
you know
don't get me wrong.
Do what you gotta do.
Shade at TV directors.
Dude. I would direct episodes. I would pop in, get a big bag of money, and walk away. Like,
look at Ryan Johnson doing the best episodes of
Breaking Bad.
Like, you can do some cool shit in TV, man.
Oh, who was it? Shoot, I just had a perfect example that would have made me seem so smart. I
did not know Quentin Tarantino directed episodes of NCIS.
Directed or wrote on or something. I remember looking up his credits once because I was like, I wonder if I've seen everything he's directed. Yeah. You know, whether there's like weird things that no one talks about. No, he's directed episodes of TV.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Dude, like I said, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would go and direct TV. I don't
want to get stuck doing that.
Kevin Smith has long bits about that where he talks about how fun it is because you just get to go all of the like stress of it is gone because you don't have to write it.
No.
You're given a script.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go and help these actors perform.
Yeah.
Like
they know the characters better than you do.
They know the characters. So all you have to do is be like, let's pull it back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, and all you get to do is go like, I think it'd be a fun shot if we did this. They're like, awesome, cool.
Yeah.
And you just get to go play in a world and work with people. Like,
do
and like, look, I'm Mr. like passion and bring everything, but like, I'm not saying don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you're directing an episode of The Flash or whatever, like, man, pop in, have the best time of your life, learn from these people, make connections, and go.
Yeah.
And so, like, and look, this director, she's directed, like I said, episodes of great episodes of Succession.
Yeah.
She's clearly so talented, and she got completely screwed over.
And it's so clear.
Yeah.
It's so clear that it's
so clear that it's not her fault.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. So I really want to see what she would do with a movie where she had even 15% control.
It feels so similar to like Fincher and Alien 3.
Yes.
It's like it feels so similar to that. Where
but
like,
even that movie has a couple cool things.
I'm not saying it's 1-to-1. But no, it's different studios. I was like, that's the same studio.
No, it's
too.
Fox and Sony.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's Madam Web.
Madam Web.
We talk a lot. Any other thoughts? I think we covered it.
I don't have any other thoughts.
No, I don't think there's much.
Madam Web went in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, and that's the disappointing part. Is it could have been really cool.
Yeah.
With that said, some negativity there. Like I said, there's a lot of talented people who deserve. Who that movie still deserves to be seen in some way, shape, or form. That the people involved with it, if there's any back end points, they don't deserve to have lose out on money because they have back end points on a bad movie.
Yeah.
But on a more positive note, I'd like to talk about some recommendations and things that we'd like to actually bring your attention to. Do you have anything that you'd like to start
go
with?
first? I know you have something.
I have music. I've got music recommendations. First things first, I have Idols. I think I've mentioned them before on the pod.
You have. Yeah.
They put out a new record called Tank, Tangk. Absolutely shreds. It is so freaking good. It's stupid. I heard the single for Dancer right before the record came out, and I was not into it. I was like, man, I really don't like this that much. I was kind of disappointed. So I actually waited for a long time to actually, not a long time. It was like a month or two after it was released to listen to it and engage with it. And then I listened to it once and then twice and then 3 times. And then I had listened to it 6 times in a row in a single day because I liked it so much. And I really, really, really like Dancer. It's not my favorite song on the record by any stretch of the imagination, but it works so much better for me in context than out of context as a single. I don't like singles. I much prefer albums. And that like feels very much a part of that. So that's recommendation number 1, Tank by Idols. If you like kind of punk, experimental kind of
post-punk.
Yeah, post-punk. Like they are like one of the coolest bands out there. Wow, I just got hardcore
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
Her web connects us all.
Did I do Did I do Tank?
No. You did back in like the Avatar episode. You very early podcast.
Oh, I just got crazy deja vu. My other recommendation is a record called Out of Sight by a band called Fidel. It is Fidel is all the letters of the word Fidel with periods in between each letter. I don't know much about this band. There was a TikTok creator. Let me see if I can pull up her TikTok really quickly. There's a TikTok creator who does like things that I listened to this week, like, you know, just like recommendations or new songs that came out this week or new records that came out this week and recommending them. And they mentioned this band and this record, and I was like, holy shit, this is good. And so Out of Sight by the band Fidel, it's like very 80s inspired, like electronic, kind of dancey, kind of funky, like I think they're like I think if I remember correctly from their TikTok, I think they're a duo. I think they're like French or something like that, but they're like a duo, but they clearly have a lot of collaborations with vocalists as well. And holy shit, it is so good. The song that I've been listening to the most off of the record is what's it called? Ooh, I'm playing it. All About Love. That is like such a good fucking dancey, amazing song. So yeah, listen to Idols if you're looking for some post-punk cool weirdness. And if you want to just dance and party, listen to Fidel, Out of Sight by Fidel. The track All About Love is a great place to start. So those are my recommendations for the week. Spencer, what do you got?
A couple things. Love Lies Bleeding. The Kristen Stewart movie.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was like, what? I was just looking at you blankly. Like, I should know this, but I can't.
Love Lies Bleeding is awesome. Now I want to talk about something else. I watched a movie. Very rare do I get fully scared where I have a hard time sleeping. Ghost Watch is a like fake TV special for this British TV show called Ghost Watch, where they go and investigate a paranormal thing. It is so fucking scary in such a good way.
Yeah.
Where in a way that I want to go back and watch it like frame by frame that shit and find all this stuff. It's such a cool movie.
Yeah.
And the reason I watched that movie is because I saw Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this for a second.
Yeah, please.
Late Night with the Devil fell under a lot of scrutiny for its use of AI images.
Yeah.
And to be very clear up front, bad. Not good.
Not good.
Never use AI in movies ever. It's not good. There is a difference though.
Yeah.
From this movie that could not have cost more than $1.5 or $2 million.
Right.
Using a couple of AI generated images for like cutaways.
Right.
And the Marvel Studios television series Secret Invasion using their entire title sequence entirely AI generated.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Marvel did it during the time when we were having these discussions about whether AI should be used or not.
Yeah.
Late Night with the Devil did it 2 years ago when this was brand new technology, and they paid artists to come in and tweak the images.
Right.
They didn't just hard stop, do it, export, go. They got these images, they gave them to artists and said, play with this, please.
Yes.
When the technology was brand new. No one gave Marvel this much shit.
Right.
And the Marvel thing is not even original. Late Night with the Devil is like a deeply original movie.
Yeah.
It is so good and so cool. And you go on Letterboxd and all the top reviews are, I'm crying because of how all the terrible crap from artists and like, guys, I'm the biggest fuck you AI person out there. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. I think it is horrible. But there's a difference here and we have to use context.
Yeah.
This movie should not be punished for doing something before any of these conversations were a thing.
Yeah.
When everyone was playing with AI because it was a new fun tool and we weren't even aware of how it was going to be used yet.
Right.
There's just a difference. If you want to give people shit for it, give the big studios trying to do this shit.
Yeah.
This movie was a passion project, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone who made this movie did it because they thought it was cool.
Yeah.
No one's fucking making money off of this. You know what I
Right.
mean? But like, if you've read this and you've decided to not go see Late Night with the Devil or not support it, rethink that.
Yeah.
That movie is awesome. Do I agree with you that they probably should have just like after the conversations paid somebody and replaced it? Even if it had screened at places, they should have. It is important
because it screened at South by first, right?
I believe,
and that was nearly a year ago.
Yeah,
and then it just went out
on Shudder and probably played at other festivals.
Right. I think in that intervening year,
even a year ago, we weren't talking about it.
No, and that's what I'm saying. It's like in that intervening year, we have started talking about it. So it does feel like there was an opportunity to just quickly replace those images.
My question is, and I don't know the timeline, had they already delivered everything and literally did not have the money to fucking redo it?
Right.
It is a very real thing that could have been the case. Now, look, I think it is important that you bring this up. That this movie unfortunately uses AI.
Yeah.
But there's a but on this one.
Yeah. It's such a huge but.
If Marvel, it's such a big booty.
If
Marvel goes, yeah, but no, fuck you. Your Marvel Studios, you can pay to have this change. That TV show costs $200 or $300 million.
IFC distributed. What else does IFC distribute? So they don't distribute much. Like I see that as a good, at least, justification for why they may not have been able to do that. Just from like a budgetary standpoint, I can imagine that probably wasn't the cheapest thing to do. Specifically, look, pay an artist to create art. The images. That wouldn't be that expensive.
It's dropping it in and getting all the other deliverables for every version of it that has to go out, and then reshipping them places if they have to go. It's like
that. So those kinds of things, but it does feel like there could have been an opportunity, and it would have been worth that opportunity to avoid this. Because like I haven't seen it, but I know this movie is so much better than the vitriol it is receiving for a dumb decision or a not fully thought through, or the timing was bad. Whatever the reasons are. This movie is better than what it's receiving.
Everyone who's made it has addressed it. They're like, look, it was before this time. It was or before these discussions were being had.
Before the strikes.
All of us were playing around with it. Like,
when Midjourney hit the scene, everyone was playing with it. Everyone.
Yeah. It's an important discussion. We need to have this discussion. But if you go on Letterboxd and are reading these reviews, like literally there are people being like, I sat in this theater because I didn't want to waste my money. But on the way to the theater, I found out it was using AI art, and I just cried the whole movie because of their taking money from art. It was like, guys, I understand. I am somebody who wants to make movies for a living.
Yeah.
It's different in this case. And if these same people in these exact same circumstances with a movie this low budget did that now, I would not be supporting it.
No, yeah.
But this is a movie that was made 2 years ago. All of these images were generated before that was done, and it screened and was released before all this.
Yeah. For the strikes.
It very much could have been out of their hands at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
Support Late Night with the Devil because it's okay. Watch Late Night with the Devil, then double feature it with Ghost Watch, and then just for a fun time, watch Love Lies Bleeding. That's your recommendation. I'm putting the soapbox away, but as we all know, the point of this is soapbox.
The point of this is soapbox.
The point of this is soapbox. That strong contention for the shirt I want us to make the most.
Really?
I think it's a very funny idea.
I still think
this guy saw the nice guy.
This guy saw the nice guys in theaters.
That is number one.
That's number one.
But anyway,
come on the pod.
Come on the pod.
Just come on the pod.
Dude, we should do it like a cruise shirt, like from a movie. Like put the logo, and then on the back it says "Come on the pod," and like quotations.
I'm very into that.
And then just it's quoted to two idiots.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's my recommendations. That's my soapbox.
Soapbox removed.
Soapbox removed. It's a very good movie. I really like it. It is so cool.
Yeah.
And there's like a puppeteering credit in the coolest way. Watch Late Night with Them. It's on Shudder, but if you can find it in a theater, go support it in a theater. It's a really cool movie.
Yeah.
Like I really want to watch it again, and I saw it like a week ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it's such a cool movie. Anyway, that's my recommendation.
And your soapbox.
And my soapbox. And that's our discussion on Madam Web.
Yeah.
Last thing before going to a movie alone, did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Did you
Yeah, no, I didn't.
It's not a fun movie, but like the experience, was it like relaxing? Was it,
Oh yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It would have been obviously like, I think the fact that I was alone in the theater changed that experience. Had I been with other people in that theater, it obviously would be very different.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of just not having somebody there to look over at in wonder at the crazy decisions, Yeah, like I do think I would have thought this movie was like funnier and
Yes.
been more
Yes.
enjoyed it from that perspective.
It would have
more.
felt closer to a camp classic with somebody.
It felt more like an analytical kind of viewing than that, because I didn't have somebody there to experience it with, or to laugh with, or to be pissed off with.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it's like it was an interesting experience at the very least. Not, I wouldn't say a negative one. Okay. Just from the fact of being there alone.
Just curious.
Yeah.
But now anyway, this has been our mini-sode on Madam Web, and you have mini-sode that is an hour long.
The same time as all of our other episodes.
This keeps happening. We didn't do a game or a B segment, so it's a mini-sode.
Was the discussion about Late Night with the Devil a B segment?
Kind of shit. Okay, this is like just a full episode. Never mind. Damn it. Okay, go. What are your lessons? Let's just do it. No, I'm kidding. I have no lessons on Madam Web. Studios, stay out of it. That's my lesson. Shit, it's a full episode.
Shit.
Anyway, this has been our mini-sode on Madam Web. You got a bunch of stuff to watch.
Or listen to.
And you should do that. Or don't. I don't know. Live your life.